This is ATN Global News. First, the headlines. Police confirm helicopter crash. Governor Yusuf insists on LG pause. Jehosu declares 7-day strike. Nigeria's external reserves hits $40.2 billion. 20 killed in Israeli strike on Gaza. League dog arrested over murder. Arsenal visit Liverpool Sunday. And now the news in details. River State Police Command has confirmed the tragic incident that Ifeanyi Udochukwu, a staff of Antan Producing Limited Port Harcourt, reported to the command that a helicopter belonging to East Wing Aviation departed from the NAP base in Port Harcourt. The police, in a statement released by SP Grace Iringa Koko, Police Public Relations Officer, said the flight was bound for Neum Antan OML 123 fields, carrying 2 crew members and 6 passengers. The statement noted that unfortunately the helicopter reportedly dished into the ocean near Anta Producing Limited Mimbo platform and FPSO. The police therefore confirmed via the statement that all 8 persons aboard are feared dead. The police said the Marine Division of the River State Police Command is cooperating with other agencies to recover the aircraft and the occupants while extending its deepest condolences to the families of the victims during these tragic times. President Bola Tinubu has directed an intensification of search and rescue for passengers of the ill-fated helicopter that crashed into the Atlantic near Boni Finima on Thursday in Port Harcourt. The helicopter, operated by East Winds Aviation and registered as 5NBQG, was hired by NNPC Limited to ferry some contract staff to the NNPCL facility, FPSO, Nums Antan. 3 passengers were confirmed dead in the crash. The accident occurred at 11:22 a.m. along the waterways in Port Harcourt when the helicopter, a Sikorsky SK-76 with registration 5MBQG and operated by East Wind Aviation, took off from Port Harcourt military base to the FPSO Nums Antan oil rig. A total of 8 persons were confirmed on board, said a spokesperson for the Ministry of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Odutayo Olushe. The aircraft dished into the waters near Boni Finima in the Atlantic Ocean, the authorities said in a statement, adding that rescue efforts have been activated. However, in a statement issued by the Special Advisor to the President's Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, President Tinubu urged military officers involved in various operations in the zone to join the rescue mission and provide all necessary support to the Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau, the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, and other relevant agencies. The President also condoled the board and staff of Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited and the families of all those who were confirmed to have passed away in the accident. He fervently prays that the Almighty God will grant eternal rest to the 3 departed souls and comfort their families. Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau has said that the circumstances surrounding the crash, the Sikorsky SK-76 helicopter from its destination in Port Harcourt, the River State capital, on Thursday, remain unknown. The Bureau said that a preliminary report of the accident would be out within 30 days. 3 people reportedly lost their lives on Thursday after the helicopter dished into the waters. The Sikorsky SK-76 with registration 5NBQG, which was operated by East Wind Aviation, was en route from Port Harcourt military base to the New Mantan oil rig. NSIB Director General Alex Bader Jr. told newsmen that the helicopter crashed 1 kilometer to its destination. A total of 8 persons were confirmed aboard, but 3 bodies have been recovered. Nigerian Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers has expressed deep sorrow over the tragic helicopter crash that claimed the lives of 8 oil workers, including 2 dedicated union officials. In a statement signed by Nupeng, President Prince Williams Boroha and General Secretary Afolabi Olawale, the union conveyed condolences to the families of the victims. The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited and Arion Energy Service Limited. The union noted that the crash represents a severe loss to both the oil and gas industry and its workforce. The East Wind Aviation helicopter carrying the 8 individuals crashed into the Bonny River on October 24, 2024 while traveling from Port Harcourt Military Base to the offshore facility FPSO Neum Atang. Among the victims were Comrade Boris Dobi, branch chairman of Nupeng, and Comrade Lawrence Alu, a represented member of Neum Atang branch. Nupeng commended the recovery efforts led by the government of Rivers and Akwa Ibom State, the Federal Ministry of Aviation, and other involved agencies. As we mourn our deceased comrades and colleagues, we stand united in our grief and offer our prayers and condolences to the bereaved families and all those impacted by this tragedy. The union reaffirmed its commitment to working with relevant stakeholders to ensure the safety and well-being of its members and the broader community. Justice Joyce Abdul Malik of the Federal High Court in Abuja has dismissed a request by Rivers State Governor to stay proceedings in a suit seeking to stop allocation of funds to all the local government areas of the Rivers State. The judge held that the request argued by Gudi Uche on behalf of Rivers State Government and was frivolous, vexatious, unwarranted, and mischievous. The Rivers State House of Assembly, led by Martin Amihuli, had dragged the Central Bank of Nigeria before the court praying for withholding of funds allocations to Rivers local governments. The Rivers State government objected to hearing of the suit in Abuja, but was turned down by the High Court. This prompted the state government to approach the Court of Appeal to intervene in the matter. The state government filed an appeal seeking the Federal High Court to stay proceedings until its appeal is determined. However, after taking argument from lawyer to the state government and Joseph Dauda for the two plaintiffs, Justice Joyce Abdul Malik dismissed the request to stop proceedings on the grounds that it was unmeritorious and mischievous. The court insisted in going ahead with hearing of the suits. Analysts has posited that it is a known fact for political gladiators to express optimism concerning their political intentions and strategy, especially in Nigeria. This comes as the national chairman of All Progressives Congress, Abdullahi Ganduje, declared that Rivers State would soon become an APC state. Speaking on Atlantic Television Network program Open Conversation, a political analyst, Emmy Fega, maintained that it is common among politicians to be boastful of their future victories and intentions, either as an opposition or ruling party.
Politicians will always be boastful. They will tell you that we win. After all, if you observe critically the presidential election, some party that don't even have offices in local government, you have somebody telling you that I am the presidential candidate, and we will win. We will win. You know, in the very last line victory, we are in charge. They are always winning, even when they have no base. This is politics for you. So,
explaining further, Mr. Feba stated that optimism is key in order to exert confidence among supporters.
They will think that the way this man is coming, they might win. Why other people will say, APC has actually exerted the authority, they will win. Let me join now. When they win, I will be part of the mainstream. So people will begin to join. But I also trust these people with their political prowess, Ganduje and the rest. Maybe they have started their mathematics already, trying to, to win Rivers.
Nigerian Navy says its troops of Operation Delta Sanity have deactivated 2 illegal refining sites with 2 refining ovens, 2 storage tanks, and numerous sacks containing illegally refined AGO in Delta State. In a statement on its verified Facebook page, it said on Wednesday, 23 October 2024, Nigerian Navy ship Delta discovered and deactivated 2 illegal refining sites with 2 refining ovens, 2 storage tanks, numerous sacks containing illegal refined AGO, and 13 dugout pits laden with an unspecified amount of stolen crude oil in Obodo, Omani Community, Warri Southwest Local Government Area, Delta State. Additionally, NNS Delta personnel discovered and destroyed an illegal refining site with 2 refining ovens, 3 storage tanks, and sacks containing illegally refined AGO in Bennett Island, Warri Southwest Local Government Area, Delta State. Primary school teachers in Delta State have called on the Delta State Governor, Sheriff Oborowori, to stop what they describe as obnoxious policies and oppressive methods of extortion from teachers by the executives of the Nigerian Union of Teachers, Delta State Wing. They raised an alarm over what they described as an oppressive imposition and illegal deduction of 5,000 naira each from their salaries for the production of an identity card. The teachers, in their numbers, accused the executive of the AUT of ill treatment, contrary to the treatment of their counterparts in the secondary school. The teachers disclosed this in a circular letter to school heads, which issued a directive to carry out the production of identity cards and interest ID to all staff of the local education authority. The circular was signed by Dan Basime, State Secretary, NUT Delta State Wing, and addressed to the Ministry of Local Government Service Commission. However, the teachers said it is unfair for the executives of the union to deduct 5,000 naira from each teacher in Delta State for an identity card at this moment when the economy is biting hard. They also lamented the deliberate delay of the promised arrears to be paid to them by the state government, saying the delay is a result of an alleged manipulation of how their monies can be deducted for frivolous purposes. As floods continue to ravage the submerged communities along the river Niger, corpses are being washed away in Adaba community, a Sako Central local government area of Edo State. Joseph Ademopai, councillor representing Ward 8 of Adaba, Ofupo, Abavo and Osemegbe in the local government, disclosed this in a chat with newsmen in Benin City. Odemopai also said that some people reportedly died in the locality due to the severe cold caused by the flood. According to him, the flood situation and water level are still high in the affected communities. The whole communities are ravaged by flood and are trying to move our people to the camp for safety. He, however, called on the federal, state and local governments to come to the aid of the affected communities. He stated that the authorities of the local governments are taking some actions at the moment while awaiting the state and federal governments to complement the council's effort. The councillor also called on the National Emergency Management Agency and the Edo State Emergency Management Agency to assist the communities. Recall that the local governments affected by the flood in the state are Esoka East, Esoka Central, and Esan Southeast, while some of the communities affected include Udaba, Anebete, Eberi, Osomebe, Ogwemeri, Iwowawa, Efupu, Efuhu, Aganebode, Ibiaja, Ilushin, amongst others. Management of the University of Benin has appointed Professor Edoba Omerege, a specialist in constitutional law and governance, as the new Vice-Chancellor of the institution. Chairman of the Governing Council of the University, Professor Shaibu Umaru, announced the appointment on Friday in Benin. Umaru stated that Omerege emerged as the 11th Vice-Chancellor of the university out of the 27 candidates who applied for the coveted position. The new Vice-Chancellor, a senior advocate of Nigeria, will take over from the incumbent Professor Lilian Salami, whose tenure ends on 1st December. Born on 5th April 1969, Professor Omerege is a native of Benin and attended the University of Benin for his first, second, and third degrees. He was called to the Nigerian Bar in 1992 and conferred with the prestigious title of Senior Advocate of Nigeria in 2021. In Imo State Police Commissioner Aboki Danjuma has ordered a probe of the medical director of Goodwill Maternity at Obinze in Owerri West local government area of the state, Silas Wamadi, who allegedly sees twin baby boys delivered at his hospital over the mother's inability to pay the hospital bill. The police commissioner also ordered the immediate release of the twin boys, Chindindu and Chijindu, who were held at the maternity since May 4th after being delivered via a cesarean session due to the parents' inability to pay the medical bill. The CP who gave the order at the command headquarters in Owerri, the state capital, stated that the medical director of the maternity who conducted the delivery of the babies admitted to asking the nursing mother to give him the twins in exchange for the unpaid hospital bill, but claimed he said it jokingly. Describing the statement as a serious one, the CP instructed his men to investigate the matter. He scolded the medical director for his lack of empathy toward the children and their 19-year-old mother, even after some compassionate Nigerians offered to cover the delivery bill. ATN gathered that the CP learned up about the issue through the grandmother of the twins, Mrs. Ngozi Okere, who had been at the maternity with the twins and their mother since May 4th. She had petitioned the CP on Wednesday alleging that the medical director had been pressuring her and her daughter daughter to give him the twins in exchange for the bill, a claim the 19-year-old mother confirmed to the CP. At the time of filing this report, the doctor was seen at the Scorpion Squad unit of the police command giving a statement. In Enugu State, Waste Management Authority has cancelled the monthly cleanup exercise that was scheduled to be held on Saturday, October 26, 2024. A statement on Friday by the Special Advisor to the Governor on Water and Waste, Andres Gabawa, said the cancellation was due to the statewide funeral rites in honor of the late President General of Ohanaeze Ndigbo, Chief Emmanuel Iwanyanwu, ESWAMA, however, advised Indian Enugu to always keep their environment clean and bag their waste properly before disposal to make the evacuation easier for the evacuators, adding that all inconveniences regarding the cleanup cancellation are highly regretted. ATN had reported that the funeral rites for Iwanyanwu, the late President General of Ohanaeze Ndigbo, worldwide, will commence on Tuesday, October 29, 2024, while he will be buried on November 1, 2024. His death was confirmed in a statement on Thursday by his son, Jude. Chief Iwanyanwu died on Thursday, July 25, 2024, after a brief illness. He was aged 82. Governor Lucky Ayedatiwa of Ondo State has pledged to give his best if elected in the November 16th governorship election, committing to improving the quality of life for the state's residents. During his tour in Ifedore local government area, Ayedatiwa, the candidate of the All Progressive Congress, assured the people of his unwavering focus on healthcare and infrastructure development. He promised that his administration would not be distracted from providing quality governance. Responding to the community's request, he highlighted plans to address local needs such as healthcare, road construction, and other essential infrastructure. He expressed gratitude to the traditional rulers and emphasized that the support was crucial for the administration's success. The Olowa of Ibara Oke, Oba Adeferakami Abede, presented the community's priorities, including the rehabilitation of key roads, improved health care with a resident doctor at the Basic Health Center, access to clean water, and flood management. Oba Abede praised Ayedatiwa's responsiveness, saying a respect for a traditional institution has earned our trust. Ayedatiwa acknowledged these requests, pledging to promptly address them and reiterating that his administration's people-centered development agenda would benefit all citizens. He called for unity and continued support from the local government throughout the campaign and beyond. As part of its effort to alleviate the economic constraints caused by growing fuel prices, the Ogun State government has set up a task force to regulate the increase in transportation prices throughout the state. The government is to embark on a statewide monitoring exercise to ensure that citizens are not unfairly burdened by exorbitant transportation fees. The exercise, tagged Task Force Control of Transport Fares of Motorists and Unethical Practices by Fueling Stations, was inaugurated by the State Ministry of Transportation last week. Commissioner for Transportation Dairo Olubenga explained that the move is in response to growing concerns from the public regarding the rising cost of transportation. He emphasized that the task force goal is to lessen the financial strains while encouraging equitable behavior between filling stations and transport unions. The commissioner revealed that the task force is made up of several stakeholders, such as the Nigerian Police Force, the Department of State Service, DSS, and the National Union of Road Transport Workers. Other key partners include the Traffic Compliance and Enforcement Agency, TRACE, and the Ogun State Park and Management Committee. Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke has been charged with intervening in a brewing crisis within the Ejibo Local Government Traditional Council over territorial claims. Egiyan of Ejibo, Oba Omowonula Oyedode, while speaking with newsmen in his palace, stressed the need for the state government to invite Olushombe of Osombe, Oba Camille Ojelabi to substantiate his claim of ownership of some villages in Ejebo local government area to avert crisis. Oba Ojelabi was alleged to have claimed the ownership of about 40 villages in Ejebo land, a claim many traditional rulers in the area described as false. According to Ogiyan, Oloshumbe of Songbe should be invited and questioned on this issue, and then the results should be published to the community. Other traditional rulers in the area who spoke through the Olosimo of Osimo Oba Oguniyi Olayiwola said the claim was ridiculous. Reacting, Oloshunbe said he was very right over villages in Oshunbe land and would not allow anyone to distort history as documents to back his claims are intact. Benue State government has withdrawn from the suit challenging the constitutionality of the laws that establish the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission currently before the Supreme Court. The withdrawal was contained in an application on Friday in Makurdi. The application was dated October 3rd and signed by Mr. Fidelis Miyim for the Benue State Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice and Public Order. Supreme Court has reserved judgment on the suit initially instituted by 19 states. Meanwhile, ATM recalled that Governor Hyacinth earlier had on Wednesday suspended the Attorney General indefinitely for joining the state in the suit without his consent. Director General of the Taraba State Geographic Information Service, Marco Joshua, has said the movement from analog to digital template is keeping records of properties is in line with best global practices. Joshua, who stated this on Friday in Jalingo during a capacity building on digital processing of land titling and boosting workforce efficiency and effectiveness, said the exercise was designed to update the knowledge of the participants to embrace the digital way of keeping records. He pointed out that they have staff in all area offices of the 16 local government areas of the state who are in turn expected to give background of the exercise, including evaluation of the processes. The DG called on all agencies working with TAGIS to support the initiative of the state governor Abu Kefas to ensure that the records of the people are secured. He, however, said the decision on tax as envisaged by the people would be tackled with a human face by the government, hence the need for Tarabans not to panic. The governor of Kano State, Abba Yusuf, has said there is no going back on the planned October 26, 2024 local government election in the state. This is coming despite a federal high court judgment voiding the poll over what it termed having card-carrying NNPP members as executive officers of the Election Commission. Yusuf made the assertion while presenting NNPP flags to the 44 chairmanship and councillorship candidates at the Sani Abacha Indoor Stadium. According to him, the state government and Kano State Independent Electoral Commission have all the constitutional backing to hold the election. He stressed that the state government is ready to swear in the candidates declared winners by the electoral body. The governor urged NNPP card-carrying members to go back to their respective wards and prepare well for the election, describing them as real supporters of the party. He assured that the party would win all the positions of 44 chairmen and as well as 484 councillors, considering the massive support it is enjoying from the people in the state. In his remark, the acting national chairman of NNPP, Dr. Audu Ajiji, expressed optimism that the election would be peaceful, adding that the party is confident it would sweep all the elected positions without any hitches. Chairman of Kano State Independent Electoral Commission, Professor Sani Lawan Mulufashi, on Friday said the main opposition, APC, is now out of the conduct following the approval for the conduct of local government elections on Saturday. According to him, 6 political parties are participating in the elections, including NNPP, ZLP, Accord Party, NRPM, AAC, and AA. The KAN-SIEC chairman insisted that the commission is carrying out its activities under the ambit of the law, saying every activity of the commission is procedural. We are not partisan. He further urged Kansiek staff and ad hoc staff to resist any temptation of bribery and ensure that underage children are not allowed to vote. Professor Mulufashi also reminded politicians that vote buying, thuggery, and other forms of violence contravene the state electoral guidelines, maintaining that the expectations of all Democrats and lovers of democracy are that Friday's Kano High Court judgment that gave a nod for the election to hold be respected. Our correspondent reports that earlier on Friday, Kano State High Court number 15 confirmed jurisdiction of Kansiek to conduct Kano State local government polls slated for Saturday. In Kaduna State, the police command has arrested at least 21 persons for allegedly attempting to disrupt the just concluded local government elections in the state. The Command's Public Relations Officer, ASP Masir Hassan, confirmed the development in a statement issued in Kaduna. Hassan said the suspects, identified as political thugs, were caught allegedly attempting to block transportation routes and disrupt the distribution of election materials by targeting ad hoc staff members assigned to oversee the election logistics. He said they were caught by operatives from Operation Fashin Kada, who acted swiftly to prevent the planned obstruction of the electoral process. The police spokesperson stated that the operatives recovered sharp weapons and hard drugs from them. Newly elected chairmen in the October 19 council election in Kaduna State have received their certificates of return from the Kaduna State Independent Electoral Commission. Hajia Hajara Mohammed, CAD SECOM chairman, during the presentation of the certificates in Kaduna, explained that the election was conducted across the state in accordance with the Kano State Electoral Law 2024. The chairman said it was the sixth time the commission had conducted elections since its establishment in 2000, adding that it was the first time elected council members were handed over to an elected council, making the event historic. She noted that the certificates of return are being issued to those who won the just concluded 2024 local government election, explaining that elections have been contested across the state in accordance with the Kaduna State Electoral Law 2024. Mohammed appreciated the permanent electoral commissioners, the commission secretary, head of departments and units, and field officers for their dedication and professionalism. She added that the exercise would not have been possible without the contributions of the entire staff of the commission, and acknowledged all categories of the ad hoc staff who have shown passion and commitment to serve our dear state. You're watching the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. We'll be back after this break.
The people of Maiduguri need your help. A catastrophic flood has engulfed the city, leaving over 1 million residents stranded and fighting for survival. Entire communities are submerged, with people trapped inside homes and on rooftops cut off from food, clean drinking water and essential supplies. Health experts are warning of a potential outbreak of deadly diseases, and medical facilities are out of commission. The situation is dire. Helicopters, boats and high-riding trucks capable of navigating the treacherous, waterlogged areas are urgently required to reach the countless men, women and children still awaiting rescue. The Nigerian media is issuing a desperate plea to the government, humanitarian organizations, international actors and citizens across the nation. Step in now, before it's too late. For more information on how you can help, contact Professor Usman A. Tar, the Honorable Commissioner for Information and Internal Security, Borno State, on 0809-233-3955. Every second counts.
This is powered by Atlantic Television Network.
Welcome back. You're watching the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. Now to the rest of the stories. President Bola Tinubu commiserates with the family, friends and associates of Professor Humphrey Wosu, a former chairman of the National Electoral Commission who died in a U.S. hospital on October 24th. Wosu was chairman of NEC from 1989 to 1993 and oversaw the historic June 12, 1993 presidential election, which General Ibrahim Babangida annulled. Before the ill-fated presidential election, Wosu's NEC had conducted the governorship and parliamentary elections. He used an innovative, inexpensive option A4, in which voters queued behind the photographs of candidates of their choice at polling stations. Bayo Onanuga, the President's Special Advisor, Information and Strategy, said in a statement that the President holds fond memories of Wosu as a bold and courageous administrator. He said Tinubu expresses his deep sorrow at the loss of a patriot and national asset who played a significant role in shaping the democracy that Nigeria enjoys today. President Tinubu affirms that the greatest honor to champions of democracy like Osu is to ensure that elections in the country remain credible, transparent and democratic, reflecting the people's right to choose their leaders and shape their future. Analysts have commended President Bola Tinubu on the recent directive and move geared towards cutting costs of governance. Speaking on Atlantic Television Network program Open Atlantic Blowout, a socio-political analyst, Lord De Operum, lauded President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for making public the directive limiting ministry's convoy to 3, amongst others.
I've been lamenting that the cost of governance should be considered, and here we are. The president has decided to deal decisively with it by also making it public. And at times, some of these things are announced indoor and without the public, being aware of what has been resolved internally, and thereby making it very difficult for those that are supposed to implement some of those actions, and then for the public to also checkmate them. It makes it difficult. It's very
Mr. Lorde further maintained that the president's open directive will help citizens to checkmate their representatives.
So we can now monitor our ministers, checkmate them, and then also inform the government what is happening, what their ministers or what the ministers are doing. On a general note, I must commend the president for this particular gesture, even if, for me, as a person, in my own personal opinion, 5 is.
In a move to cut costs of governance, President Bola Tinubu had restricted members of his cabinet and heads of government parastatals to only 3 vehicles in their convoys. Vice President Kashim Shettima's trip to Samoa to represent Nigeria at the 2024 Commonwealth Heads of Government Summit has been cancelled after a foreign object hit his plane during a stopover at JFK Airport in New York. A statement issued last night by Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, said the foreign object damaged the cockpit windscreen of the plane. According to the statement, President Tinubu, acting promptly, has approved a ministerial delegation to represent Nigeria at the summit in the Samoa capital of Apia, while the plane's repair has commenced. The delegation, which will now represent Nigeria at the 2024 Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in Samoa, is being led by the Minister of Environment, Balarabe Abbas Lawal. Bill to amend the Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria Act 812, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, has passed second reading in the House of Representatives. The proposed amendments seek to establish the National Institute of Rubber Research and Technology in Ilushin, Ogun State, and address related matters. Leading the debate, Honorable Ade Besan Folorunshaw Ogun highlighted that the bill aims to create a legal framework for the institute, which will offer full-time and part-time courses in rubber technology. The institute will be empowered to award national and higher national diplomas, as well as graduate diplomas and degrees.
The establishment of National Institute of Research, Rubber Research and Technology in Lushin, Ogun, Waterside, local government area of Ogun State is a bold step towards not only addressing the education needs of the people in the area, but also as a training and research ground for agriculturists in the discipline as well, make provision for the general administration of the institute and for related matters. Mr. Speaker, sir, it will interest you to know that Ogun State is one of the 10 top rubber producing states in Nigeria. And as you know, there is only one research institute in the whole country which cannot cater for 24 states that are rubber producing states, which means the only one we have is grossly inadequate. Therefore, there is need to establish more rubber research institutes, especially at this period that we need to focus more on agriculture.
Bill for an Act to amend the Tertiary Education Trust Fund Act 2011 also scaled second reading in the House of Representatives. The bill is seeking amendment of the TET Fund Act to provide additional conditions for assessing funds for capital projects by beneficiary institutions.
To ensure that these intervention funds being sourced and provided by the federal government of Nigeria cannot get to all universities in Nigeria. But they're just saying that the universities who have shown capacity, who have shown resilience, who have shown steadfastness, can use their track record to have a better chance than one university who has not done anything, who has just sat down and not expending the use of the resources they've afforded them.
All universities have done their needs assessment, and we know what they require and what they don't require. Relative to funding, Mr. Speaker, most of the projects don't also have sufficient funds at every given point in time. So, tracking and having the records of achievements in terms of what they had done with what is available to them might be challenging, except we strengthen the capacities of the supervisory agencies and institutions. So if we have to use that as a criteria or criterion in further assessment of funds to improve the capacity of our universities, I wonder if some universities will not be shut out completely in this process.
It will surprise you to know that a lot of universities are not able to access the TED fund money. And the reason is a lot of conditions put up for them to meet before they access these funds, which has made it very, very impossible. And coming again to amend this act to further strengthen and add more conditions, Mr. Speaker, I think it's just like what my honorable colleague said. Someone who is looking for employment, and for you to deny him that employment, you are looking for 30 years experience and 50 years experience. Asking universities to submit their financial records and jobs they have done to Accountant General of Nigeria with enormous responsibilities he cannot even meet. It's just a way of saying that it's impossible for universities to access this fund.
The problem has been that most institutions have not even met up with some of the stringent conditions, one of which is that until you exhaust the allocations for the current year, you are not entitled to take that of the previous year. So that has brought unassessed interventions on the floor. That is also not to underlook or overlook the issue of poor performance, uncompleted projects, because you are aware TED fund interventions don't have any space for variation. So I would also add that maybe at committee level, we'll look at ensuring that even as an intervention, the National Assembly has the mandate to appropriate the funds.
The House rejected a bill for an act to amend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, to revise the definition of Islamic law in the Constitution and for related matters. The bill was sponsored by Honorable Aliyu Bapa Musau Bauchi.
The Constitution did not envisage the dynamism and the development coming off in the country. In 2003, the Constitution did not recognize that the Islamic commercial law, Islamic company law, Islamic international law, Islamic public law. Therefore, what I'm requiring is the removal of the removal of personal in section 24 of the Constitution, section 262, section 277, and section 288, so that other relevant laws, like the public, the commercial law, Islamic commercial law, the Islamic company law, the Islamic international law, can have a place in the Constitution. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, this is what I want the honorable colleagues to support, so that this amendment...
This bill we better dealt with, in broader technical detail at the level of Committee for Constitutional Review. But straight off, the section you're referring to, if it is removed, the word personal is removed, the implication immediately is that Islamic law will now have a general application with respect to criminal law across the country. The word personal there was put for a purpose. So if you remove it, that's the implication. It will have great consequences. So we can look at the details of what you're trying to do, what you're trying to achieve, and advise at the committee level.
We have to be very, very cautious of whatever we do to alter the Nigerian constitution in a manner that will further widen the divides that we have as a country. And in any case, Mr. Speaker, like my previous colleague said, the matters which my colleague seek to address by this proposal is already covered by existing laws. The Kama law, covers regulation on issue of finances and allows for its application of Islamic principles of financial transaction. The same thing with the CBN Act, like you rightly said. And the moment we allow the Constitution to be altered to take care of all manner of interests, we will no longer be in the state where the sanctity of the Constitution is respected, and the intent of the drafters of the Nigerian Constitution via or as regards to the secular nature of the Nigerian nation. Allow us to please step down this amendment for the time being so that we can deliberate more on it. Because of course, from the way I see it, is such that the state should be considering, not here. The problem of religious war, we started as far back as 1938 in this country. Let it not start here again. Let it not be that it is this house that is going to put fuel to the very fragile democracy, to the very fragile situation, the unity between us. It's very important. As we are talking now, people are hearing us. People are seeing us, thinking that we want to promote one religion over the other. I therefore pray that we step this down for the time being. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I think we need not lose sight of what the proposer of the bill intends to achieve. I understand how sensitive matters related to religion are, especially in this country. But the fact of the matter is we cannot treat religion issues in isolation. There are issues that we must bring to the front burner and discuss, irrespective of how sensitive they are. I didn't want to stand, but I looked at the sensitivity. Even from the argument, you could see the sensitivity that is driving the sentiment that is driving the argument. But if we focus,
Honorable Ali, approach the chair.
If we focus on what the bill intends to achieve,
Honorable, approach the chair.
The bill intends to review the description of Islamic law, which means it's already enshrined in the Constitution.
House of Representatives has rejected a bill seeking to expand Islamic law in the 1999 Constitution. Interparty Advisory Council has backed the call for special seats for women in the National and State Assemblies. National Chairman of IPAC, Yusuf Maman Dantele, gave the backing in his opening speech at the Council's second policy roundtable with the theme 64 Years of Independence, Inclusive Democracy and the Options of Special Seats for Women held in Abuja on Friday. National Assembly is currently reviewing the Constitution and the Electoral Act with a view to amending them and ensuring full citizens' participation in politics, democracy and governance. The review is also to ensure that no voice is left unheard and no person is left behind in the onerous task of building a greater democratic nation. He noted that the Council has been at the vanguard have been at the verge of advancing women's political participation and representation and established a Directorate of Women Affairs among other gender-friendly policies in its National Secretariat, Abuja. Members of the Joint Health Sector Unions and Assembly of Healthcare Professionals have declared a 7-day warning strike commencing from midnight on Friday. Addressing journalists in Abuja, the national chairman of the union, Kabiru Minijiber, on Friday listed some of his demands. They include the immediate implementation of the consolidated health salary structure, payment of a 25% review of his arrest from June to December 2023, upper review of retirement age for health workers, tax waiver on healthcare workers' allowances, and the immediate payment of COVID-19 inducement hazard allowance, among other demands. The latest strike commenced after a 15-day notice of industrial action issued to the federal government. Recall that ATN had reported that the union was mobilizing its members across the country to embark on a 7-day warning strike beginning from midnight of October 25, 2024. The body is asking all its members across the country to comply with the directive. Following an intelligence report from ECHO's intelligence alleging that only 15,000 naira is allocated to divisional police officers for administrative and operational expenses over a 3-month period, the Nigerian Police Force headquarters has dismissed the claim as misleading and inaccurate. First Public Relations Officer ACP Muyiwa Adejobi issued a statement on Friday clarifying that the Inspector General of Police Kayode Batukun has ordered an immediate investigation to identify those responsible for what are described as deliberate misinformation. Adejobi emphasized that the article's allegations are unfounded and attempt to tarnish the reputation of the police force. The Inspector General's directive to investigate the reports, ACP Adejobi stated, underscores the police commitment to transparency and its stance against unfounded accusations. Acknowledging long-standing funding challenges, Adejobi noted that recent efforts by the current government have led to meaningful improvements, with further enhancements expected in the upcoming year. Minister of Defense Mohammed Badaru on Friday charged troops fighting banditry in the northwest to intensify ongoing onslaught against banditry in the region and to keep the roads safe for motorists. The minister was addressing the troops stationed at the Garbin Barre, a border between Katsina and Zamfara states, assuring readiness of the federal government to continue to look at the welfare of the troops and their equipment. Badaru, who was on an official visit to northwest to access the security deployments mounted along notoriously attacked Zaria Gusau, Garia, Gusau, Jibia, and Katsina roads, expressed optimism that banditry will end as quickly as possible, going by the progress being recorded by the troops on a daily basis. He therefore solicited more support from the general public to win the war. The minister also inspected troops attached to the air component Operation Fansa Yama at the Umaru Musa Yar'Adua Airport, Katsina, where he proceeded to 211 operating base, quick responding Wing 1 of the Nigeria Air Force, Katsina. He charged them to dominate the air to get rid of the criminal elements. Here now is business news. Central Bank of Nigeria says the nation's external reserves has risen to $40.2 billion. Deputy Governor Economic Policy Mohammed Abdullahi disclosed this at a briefing with foreign investors on the sidelines on the ongoing annual meetings of the IMF and World Bank in Washington, D.C. He said that the current level of reserve could accommodate 14.5 months of goods and services imports on 18 months for only goods imported. He also disclosed that foreign exchange inflow into the country stood at $57 billion as of August this year. He added that capital importation had nearly doubled to $6.9 billion as of August 2024, compared to $3.9 billion recorded in 2023 financial year. He also disclosed that efforts to attract more remittances from diaspora Nigerians was yielding desired results, as it put current monthly remittances at $650 million. According to him, diaspora remittances has reached a record $3.5 million compared with a total annual performance of $3.2 billion in 2023. Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, has confirmed that the federal government will impose 15% value-added tax on luxury goods, adding that total subsidy removal became effective last month. Fielding investors' questions at a meeting on the sidelines of the ongoing IMF World Bank annual meetings in Washington, D.C., he said that the bill before the National Assembly would bring about a situation where rich Nigerians would pay VAT rates that would increase over time to 15%. He clarified, however, that the poor and vulnerable will pay less at or zero VAT on essential goods. According to him, the list of such essential goods that would attract zero VAT would be made available to the public in due course. Edun was optimistic that the oil sector was set to increase the accretion of foreign exchange into the market, as according to him, oil production was being ramped up with better security in the oil-producing areas and new investments, especially those announced by Total and ExxonMobil. He also said that total removal of fuel subsidy became effective in September 2024. International Monetary Fund has clarified that it was not behind Nigeria's recent removal of fuel subsidy, a decision made independently by the Nigerian government. The IMF has faced criticism for Nigeria's recent fiscal reforms, which have led to rising inflation and increased hardship for many citizens. Speaking at a press conference during the IMF and World Bank annual meeting in Washington, D.C., IMF's African Region Director Abebe Selassie stated that the decision was a domestic one. Mr. Selassie acknowledged the IMF guidance on public resource management, noting that the Nigeria needs substantial investments in infrastructure, healthcare, and education. The government's choices regarding subsidy removal reflects its long-term strategy for sustainable economic growth. Admitting the economic impact on Nigerians, Mr. Selassie encouraged the Nigerian government to roll out special social investment to help vulnerable groups manage the transition. And now to international tidbits. Mozambican capital Maputo awoke to wreckage on Friday as protests overnight turned violent following ruling party Frelimo's re-election after 49 years in power. Hundreds of opposition supporters demonstrated rejecting what they call a ballot stolen by a corrupt electoral commission, which on Thursday announced candidate Daniel Chapo had won the October 9th election with 79% of the vote. As the election authority, widely accused of acting in favor of Frelimo, was announcing the results, crowds gathered in multiple cities. Protests escalated, with rioters setting fire to tires to block avenues in Maputo and scaling Frelimo's election billboard and destroying them. According to reports, some also threw stones at anti-riot police who fired tear gas to disperse them. Chapo, a 47-year-old former provincial governor with no experience in national government, was little known before his surprise nomination as candidate for the ruling Frelimo party. He will take over from President Filipe Nyusi in January. Opposition leader Venancio Mondlane who has declared himself the winner and claimed the irregularities, officially won just over 20%. Gaza Civil Defense Agency said Israeli airstrikes hit 2 homes at dawn on Friday in Khan Yunis, the territory's main southern city, killing at least 20 people. According to agency spokesman Mahmoud Basal, 14 people were killed in the strike that hit the home of Al-Farah family, and another 6 were killed in a separate air raid. Medics at the Nasser Medical Complex confirmed the casualties at the Al-Farah home and released the names of the dead. The military, in a statement giving an operational update, said that a number of terrorists were eliminated from the air and ground. In southern Gaza, while Israeli forces continue to operate across Gaza, recent weeks have seen an intensified air and ground assault in the territory's north, where the military reports Hamas militants are regrouping. Philippine rescue workers struggled through widespread flood waters on Friday to reach residents stranded on rooftops as tropical storm Trami, which was moved out to sea, left at least 40 people reported dead. The storm dumped two months worth of rainfall over just 2 days in parts of the country, displacing tens of thousands. Andre Dizon, police director of the Bicol region, told news many are still trapped on the rooftops of their homes and asking for help. The storm impact has left numerous regions devastated, particularly in Bicol, where President Ferdinand Marcos, while addressing the press, pointed out the challenges of assessing affected areas due to unexpected landslides. As Chami moved over the South China Sea, the death toll increased. In Batangas province, south of the capital Manila, Police Staff Sergeant Nelson Cabuso said of the discovery of 6 bodies in the flood-ravaged village of Sampaloc. Around 193,000 people have been evacuated by Thursday, particularly in Bicol, where unprecedented flooding drove more than 30,000 to safety in a single day. And now entertainment news. Adedoyin Odunuga, the wife of prominent gospel singer Damilare Odunuga, also known as Dare Melody, is dead. The news was shared in a statement on Instagram late Thursday by Dare Melody, who expressed grief over the loss of his beloved Adedoyin. The company released an official statement earlier today confirming Odunuga's passing in the early hours of October 24, 2024. Described as a cherished figure among his family, friends, and colleagues, the DM multimedia community shared this sorrowful message, noting he will forever be in our hearts as the honored Mrs. Odunuga's memory. The cause of her death and details regarding the burial timeline have yet to be officially announced. Prominent American rapper Lil Durk, born Doug Banks, has reportedly been arrested Thursday night in Florida and has since been charged with murder for hire. Currently held without bond, Banks is in custody at Broward County Jail awaiting transfer to U.S. Marshals. The arrest follows the detention of 5 other suspects earlier in the day, each charged with murder for hire and conspiracy to commit murder for hire. The charges stem from the 2022 killings of Savaya Robinson, cousin of rapper Quando Rondo, who was fatally shot in Los Angeles. Authorities have connected the incident to ongoing gang disputes. Federal prosecutors named the additional suspects as Cavon London Grant, Dandre Dontel Wilson, Keith Jones, David Bryan Lensley, and Asha Winston. American rapper Beccalis Melanis Almaza, known as Cardi B, has landed in the hospital following a medical emergency. The rapper, who welcomed her 3rd child with her ex-husband Offset last month, said she had been in the hospital for some days. She disclosed this in a statement shared via her social media pages recently. She cancelled her scheduled performance at the One Music Fest due to the medical emergency. Cardi B, who did not disclose the ailment, promised to be back better and stronger. Recall that Cardi B recently announced that she's quitting alcohol after getting drunk at her 32nd birthday party in New York. Here now is ATN Sports News. Injury hit Arsenal have little room for error when Premier League leaders Liverpool visit the Emirates on Sunday despite losing just 1 so far this season. 2 under pressure managers face off at the London Stadium as Julien Lopetegui aims to quell disquiet among the West Ham support against Eric Ten Hag's Manchester United. Arsenal were tipped to push Manchester City all the way again this season after twice coming so close to a first Premier League title since 2003-2004. But it is Liverpool who led the way after a near-flawless start to Arne Slot's reign. The Gunners' shock 2-0 defeat to Bournemouth last week leaves them 4 points behind the Reds and 3 drifts of second-place City. Arsenal could be without 3 of their most important players, with William Saliba suspended, Martin Odegaard sidelined by an ankle injury, and Bukayo Saka a doubt due to a hamstring problem. Defenders Ricardo Calafuri and Joreen Timber could also be missing, and Mikel Arteta has called on the Arsenal fans to be the 12th man on Sunday. Real Madrid boss Carlo Ancelotti has released his side's La Liga El Clasico squad to face Barcelona on Saturday. The Italian included the likes of Vinicius Junior, Kylian Mbappe, and Edric to tackle Barcelona at Santiago Bernabeu. Ancelotti's side head to the game following a 5-2 victory over Borussia Dortmund in the Champions League in the last month, while Barcelona won 4-1 against Bayern Munich. And that's the global news for tonight. Before we go, another look at the major stories. Police confirm helicopter crash. Governor Yusuf insists on LG pool. Jehosu declares 7-day strike. Nigeria's external reserves hit $4.2 billion. 20 killed in Israeli strike on Gaza. Lead dog arrested over murder. Arsenal visit Liverpool Sunday. I am Wendy Aguma. Thank you for watching and good evening.